Now the original Mellotrons were intended more like entertainment machines, so they have two keyboards, the right hand side being the leads and the left hand side being the rhythms. On this second expansion card, we of course have all these weird and wonderful rhythms. And some people might recognize this. That's the one actually. That was used by the Kinks on the song Phenomenal Cat. And then he plays the lead flute, of course, but in the intro they use this, and this is one of the rare uses of the rhythms / fills. Of course, you also have maybe the best known use, which is actually ironically on a chromatic. So this is rhythms and fills, stills, but this is a chromatic sound, so not a rhythm. And here, the intro to Beatles' Bungalow Bill, and then we have, and so the original idea was for people to start dancing. You have, this is the accompaniment side, so that will have some really nice on the card 2, there's the remainder of the M300 library. Then there's some more extra stuff in the 400 library, a different version of the cello, Jack Bruce's cello, a viola. Then we have Jack Bruce's voice. Which is, Jack Bruce is of course the bass player and singer of Cream, so a very accomplished musician who recorded also himself a lot of the sounds that are in here. Another bassoon, clarinet, so some more oddball. Here's the French horn that Jack Bruce recorded. So then there's some percussive effects. So this was also used as a sample library for percussive sounds, timpani rolls, etc. And some glockenspiels, wine glasses. So more odd Black Sabbath sound effects. Backwards piano. Roxy Music sound effects. Oh yeah, this is a chromatic synth. So a lot of these, and then from Tangerine Dream, a bunch of sound effects and stuff. So this is recordings of bands from the 70s that wanted these on tape frames for various reasons. Either to make a very complicated way of making a monophonic synth polyphonic, because the Mellotron is of course polyphonic, and also to just get sound effects that were or synth sounds that are hard to reproduce, just to have them on a key just ready to go. We have some custom sounds that Rami from the Foo Fighters recorded, and Wilco, a dulcimer, some Cortales percussion, feedback guitar by Nels Klein. So the high version and the low version. So just to show that it's still a living library, and you can send in sounds and you can have them put on cards. So then the card 3 is basically the same thing, but the Chamberlain library, and of course the Chamberlain also had because the Music Master was the same principle as the Mark II Mellotron, so you have you had a lot of the same similar principle but executed in a different way. And this actually was the Lawrence Welk Orchestra, which was kind of a famous orchestra back in the 50s and 60s here in California. You have on this card you have also rhythms from other Music Master models. Foxtrot and shuffle. And you can make some really interesting, like, Tom Waits using something like this. On this card there's more leads. Different vocal sound. And then there's a 22 string sound library that Joe Vanelli, the brother of Gino Vanelli, recorded. So violins, viola, cello, and uprights. So with different types of trills and so this light vibrato, irregular vibrato, trill, half trill, whole trill, and tremolo, and then pizzicato. And then the same thing with cello, and then with upright bass. On card 4 we have sounds from the Optigon and Orchestron and Chilton Talent Maker, which are sample playback instruments, but the sound is played back from a rotating disc. So the sounds are recorded optically and analog on that disc, and all of the sounds are available at the same time, so you can play chords, and they are samples, but it's just not magnetic playback but optic playback. Like on the very old films they had an optical soundtrack. Basically looks like a little Pro Tools file. So different organs, and then also rhythms. This is the very unknown Talent Maker, which is the least known of these instruments. You have the Optigon. So a lot of cool rhythms and stuff on there. We have both this, and then also, if we scroll up here a little bit, we have the Orchestron. Oh, sorry, we ended up at the Chamberlain here. Cello. See, it's a very noisy, scratchy recording. So talking about card 5, we have now looped the different sounds. So you have actually a flute that has the intro, but then loops continuously. And this is something new in Mellotron world, but it's been asked by many people. We've been asked many times for this kind of thing. What's interesting about this card also is that it's got some unused rhythms. For instance, the Afro-Cuban, and it should have the African Waltz. Then we have the 300 rhythms. Very rare and hardly available because there's only 30 of the instruments and many of them are broken down. So there's a lot of these And it has also some a little bit of fills. The pop. And then there were a lot of unused sounds that we found in our archive. Also a lot of sounds that might be useful because they've never seen the light of day before, never been used by anybody. Then we have some more 400 sounds, a Moog library of sounds. So if you wanted a polyphonic Moog, which is, of course, was an impossibility, and this is, since this is probably a mini Moog, with this kind of fat sound, you couldn't get with a polymoog, so. Brass. And this is very convenient to be able to play chords with this. Larry Fast of Synergy, recording other synths, a violin emulation, which is very interesting. And then loops of some of the 400 sounds. And then a newly recorded instrument by Jordan Berliant, who did a melodica. All of these expansion cards can be used in the M4000D series of instruments. This little guy is not expandable, so it's the 100 sounds that are built into it that you can use.